Hello and welcome to Learning Excel 2016. My name is Mike Henry and this is the third video from Chapter 2. In this video we're going to finish up a couple of math formulas that need to be done. We're going to learn something about copying and pasting, some keyboard techniques that'll help you copy and paste quicker. And then we're going to get into the formatting of numbers, and we're going to learn some differences between different number styles that we can format with. We're going to finish off now all the math formulas for the sales report. And I'm going to start with ones that you can't see on the screen right now. And the reason is I want to show you a neat little trick here. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on the name box and I'm going to go to a particular cell called O27. So you can see I put in O27 and hit enter. And when I do, it takes me right to cell O27, which is the cell that needs a formula in it. Now, that can be used for any combination. You can jump around on a spreadsheet really quick if you know exactly where you're going. Now here what we want to do is we want to sum up January through December, and I'm going to use the auto sum feature here. So you can see I click right here on auto sum, and that highlights that area that it's showing I'm going to sum all these things. I go January through December, that looks good, and I hit enter. Now AutoSum is a very useful feature, but it's very important to understand that AutoSum can get you fired. That's what the job description for AutoSum is, to get you fired. Because at the end of the day, companies don't fire the program, they fire the person who's running it. Now, here's what AutoSum can do. Some people go, oh, well, I'll just keep AutoSumming all the way down. So they'll hit AutoSum again, they go, look, it's working fine, they're not paying attention anymore, and when they hit AutoSum another time, AutoSum is no longer going across, it's now going up and down. AutoSum doesn't know what you really want it to do. It is set up to do things on its own. And one of the things it does is if there's numbers above, it'll do those before numbers sideways. So it's very important to always check AutoSum, because AutoSum will get you fired. So I'm not even going to hit OK with that one. I'm going to delete this other one. And here's what I would do. Get this first one with AutoSum. You know the formula is working. It's C27 to N27. It's working fine. Then do like we did before. Get your autofill, get your little target symbol, and pull this down. Get the formula once. Once you have the formula correct, then copy the formula down. You can see here, this is the 46 row, here's the 43 row. It works perfect because of that relative reference. Now, here's another way we can use AutoSum. You'll see that I'm going to highlight from here, January, all the way over to our totals row. I highlight that whole area and I just hit AutoSum once. And it filled in all the formulas here. But here's my problem. I don't know if those formulas are right or not. So I take one formula, I'm going to use this one in the C column, and I'm going to double click it. And then what I can do is I can see that it highlighted from the very top where I want it, C27, down to the bottom. Now that I know the formula is correct, I can move on. Those formulas are good to go. So always check AutoSum, an extremely useful tool, a tool that will get you in trouble if you do not pay attention to it. Now let's go back to our numbers here, and we need to look at filling in these last sets of numbers. The net change, that's a pretty straightforward, easy one. We're going to just take 2017 and subtract away 2016. So you can see I come here, 2017 minus 2016, and I've got it. Now over here, the percent of change, that's basically taking the net change and dividing by the starting point. And we're going to do this all in one formula here. So what we're going to see is I take my first part, which has to be done first, the subtraction, and I put in my parenthesis. And now I say 2017 minus 2016, and I close my parenthesis. This must be done first, the subtraction, and then I'm allowed to divide by the starting point, which was 2016 right there. Now with that in there, it says that I've got a 14% change, which is good. Now with those formulas in place, what I can do is I can use copy and paste to fill in the rest of them. Now I want to show you, we've done before highlighting what we want, and I could autofill this, but I've got gaps here that I need to get to, and I don't want to copy over everything and lose my titles here. Now I could do the traditional click on here, highlight what I want, and paste, but I want to show you a way that's much faster and more efficient for you. If you take your left hand, I've highlighted this, you take your left hand and you put your pinky on the control key, and you take your index finger and hit C. That's a control copy. You can see that now the ants are running around the area that needs to be copied. Now I can simply highlight down here these couple of cells, and I can do control with my pinky, and my index finger hits the V as in Victor. And you can see where I just paste it in those particular formulas. Now notice the ants are still running, so if I highlight these two and do control V, and I highlight here, control V, and really quickly here, these three, control V, you can see how quickly a copy and paste works with just using your index finger and your pinky finger. And every one of these formulas came across nicely because of that relative reference that we learned in the last video. So we've got our content correctly. All of our formulas have been placed in there. We know the formulas are working. So now it's time to look at formatting the numbers, and that's what we're going to focus on here, is just formatting numbers. Now when we look at these numbers, some of them represent dollars, and it's important to understand when you're working with business you need to put signs in on certain numbers. Now you'll look right here, I'm going to click on the 2017, and you'll notice that there's a dollar sign right here, and you go, oh well, let's click that one and see what happens. So I click that and I immediately get railroad tracks. Wow, that's interesting. And really what's happening here is that the cell isn't big enough to show all the numbers, and if it can't show all the numbers, it's not going to show any numbers because it doesn't want you to make a bad decision. So here, when I double click this and best fit it, you can see I've got $9.8 million there, and I've got a dollar sign that's right here. Now you'll also notice that it shows this is an accounting dollar sign. Now I'm going to click here and I'm going to turn this one into a currency dollar sign. And you go, wow, that's a dollar sign, that's a dollar sign. I don't really see the difference, Mike. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the difference by taking these two columns and just make them a little wider. Okay? And what you see here is this is an accounting dollar sign, or we'll also hear the term fixed. It's a fixed dollar sign. This one here is a currency dollar sign, and it's a floating dollar sign. And it's really important to understand that there's two different dollar signs out there. This is one that we would use to write a check or use with direct money. This one here is used for business reports. So if you're doing an accounting statement, let's see, a cash flow, net income, balance sheet, all of those would be an accounting symbol here. This one is, I'm actually going to print a check coming out. And the reason we use the currency here is we don't want to give someone the ability to cheat and put something in between there and turn that into a couple $1 million extra check instead of just being that $9 million check. So you can see the differences between the dollar signs here. I'm going to really quickly highlight both of these and turn these into accounting dollar signs, and you'll notice that it has two decimal places which are both zeros, and that's kind of useless to us. So you can see right here we have increase and decrease decimals. I can click real quick and I've just decreased my two decimals, and at this point I'm going to best fit these two columns so we get them back. Now in the business world you only put the top row with a dollar sign when you're dealing with business monies. These would all be assumed to be dollars, so what we do is we just put a comma in there, and you can see right here I can do the comma style. You notice it gives me two decimal points, and I simply reduce those. So now you can see my comma separators match up really nice. I have dollar signs up here that are sitting off to the side. Those are fixed. And then here, these are the exact same thing. These are dollars that are talking about the exact same change that we have there. So again, I would come back and I would pop this in, remove those two, and this set here, I can do a simple comma and remove those. But these ones here are not dollars. These ones here are changes, a percent of change. So we need to understand something. When we use this percent symbol, it is going to change things. You can see right here, this says a 14% change. Now when I click on this, it's showing a 15% change, and that's due to rounding. So if we increase the decimal place here, you can see that I got my 14.88 back. So we have that change, but what happened was this was really multiplied by 100. It was multiplied by 100. In the real world, this formula that we used here, if you go to your math class and check how you do a percent of change, the actual formula would have been to multiply by 100 after you divide. You multiply there, and what you'll see is that would leave us with a 1,488% change. So we modified the formula knowing that we were going to use this piece here. So you see I removed that. So if you don't understand percents, you need to understand anytime you put this symbol there, it's either going to multiply and divide. If you don't understand, go ask someone who understands mathematically what's happening, because you don't want to get caught in a position where these numbers are off by multiplying by 100 or dividing by 100. Now here we've got all of these numbers looking really good, just the way we want them to. And you go, wow, now I have to reduplicate everything down here, and it's actually the same sets of things. And what we're going to see is we can actually copy and paste, but not the formulas. We're going to copy and paste just the formatting. And up here you see where it says Format Painter. When I click on this, you can see it says I'm going to take the look that's in here, and I click right here, and you'll see it pastes that same look down across here. So I don't have to go and redo everything. If these particular ones down here got missed, I would just simply highlight these two, click my Format Painter, and now those have been painted exactly the same. So we can see how quickly you can paint something. In this video we finished up some of the math formulas. We learned about copy and pasting math formulas using our fingers, Control C and Control V, and that's a very, very quickly and easy way to move data back and forth with copy and paste. It also actually works with database, so if you ever get into the database world, you'll find that those keystrokes, Control C, Control V, are very useful. We formatted some numbers using currency. We used $. We saw that between account and currency there is a difference and when to use those. And the last thing we looked at was the percent sign. We now understand whenever you use that percent sign, you are multiplying something by 100. So if you're using a change of net change formula, you might have to modify the formula if you want to use that percent symbol like we did